We all know nonprofits do amazing, life-changing work, right? But here's the thing. Turning all those stats and reports into a story that actually makes someone feel something and then do something, that's the real challenge. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to pull that off.
It's a tricky balance, isn't it? How do you get people to donate without just making them feel guilty? Well, the secret sauce, it turns out, is storytelling. Real, powerful, authentic storytelling. And we're about to look at 4 organizations that absolutely nailed it.
And look, the stakes here are, well, they're incredibly high. Get this, a whopping 57%. Yeah, you heard that right. 57% of people who watch a nonprofit's video actually go on to donate. That's more than half. It just goes to show you a good story isn't just a nice to have, it's a game changer. It creates real, measurable impact. All right, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to dive into 4 amazing case studies, each one showing a different way to tell a powerful story. We'll talk about everything from bringing old donors back into the fold to making really complex issues feel simple and personal. And the best part? We'll finish with a simple playbook of takeaways you can start using, like tomorrow. Okay, first up, let's talk about New Directions Youth and Family Services. Now, these guys had a huge mountain to climb. They needed to reconnect with a giant list of donors who hadn't given in years, some of them for decades. So how on earth did they do it?
I mean, just imagine this challenge. You've gone through a big merger, and now you have a list of 10,000 people who used to give, but many of them haven't heard from you since the 1980s. You can't just send out a generic "please donate" letter, right? That would go straight in the trash. They had to find a completely new way to connect.
And this quote from their director, Jeff Mendola, just hits the nail on the head. He said, "They want to hear success stories about real people, not statistics and industry-speak gobbledygook." I love that, gobbledygook. So that's what they did. They dropped all the jargon and told a real story about a real person named Cheyenne and her journey. It became about a human being, not just a number on a spreadsheet. And wow, just look at the results. They speak for themselves, don't they? By focusing on these personal stories, they nearly doubled their donations. I mean, going from about $5,000 to over 10,000, that's huge. And the number of gifts, it nearly tripled. But here's the kicker. Almost half of those donations were from people who hadn't given a dime in more than 10 years. That's the power of a good story.
Okay, let's shift gears to our second case study, Eco-Justice. Now, their challenge was totally different. They do really complex, important legal work. But let's be honest, legal battles can be kinda dry. So how do you make that stuff feel personal, feel urgent to someone who's not a lawyer?
Yeah, that was the big question. How do you take a legal fight that might have lasted 10 years and make it just as gripping as a one-on-one personal story? They had to figure out how to translate all that technical legal stuff into something that sparks a real emotional connection.
And this is how they did it. So simple, but so brilliant. They just cut through all the noise. Instead of complicated legal talk, they use headlines like this one. Cleaned up drinking water in Harrietsfield, Nova Scotia. Boom. It's not about the lawsuit anymore. It's about a town getting clean water. It's about families being safe. It's something anyone can understand and get behind.
And did it work? Oh yeah, the impact was instant. They built their year-end campaign around these simple, powerful stories, and their revenue shot up by almost 25%.
But wait, it gets even better. Check this out. For every dollar they spent on social media ads, they got 4 back. A 400% return on investment. This just proves it, right? Telling a clear story isn't just some fluffy, feel-good thing. It is fantastic for the bottom line.
All right, our third example from the United Way of Greater Portland really takes this whole idea to the next level. See, they didn't just decide to tell a couple of good stories. They built an entire system for it, a storytelling engine, really. They came up with this brilliant idea called the library. Think of it like a library, but instead of books, it's full of stories, audio clips, videos, written pieces. And the focus was completely different. It wasn't about, hey, look how great our organization is. It was all about the real, human experiences of the people they were helping.
And they didn't just grab any old story. They were super intentional about it. They had this simple 3-step checklist. First, is this story necessary? Does it need to be told right now? Second, does it actually fit our strategy? And third, is it timely? Does it connect with what's happening in our community today? Smart, right? You know, what I think is so cool about this is the philosophy behind it. Susie Picker, their chief storyteller, said they kept their branding really minimal on purpose. The goal wasn't just to make marketing materials for themselves, they wanted to create a resource that other organizations could use too to help them with their work. It's so generous and collaborative.
Okay, for our last case study, we're looking at St. John's program for real change. And they tapped into what might be the most powerful storytelling tool there is. Just raw, unfiltered honesty.
Their campaign, called the Deep Water Story, didn't try to make everything look neat and tidy, not at all. It told the real, messy, complicated stories of women fighting their way through trauma, addiction, and homelessness. It showed that the path to real change is never a straight line. And by being that vulnerable, that honest, they created this incredibly powerful bond with their audience.
So what made it so effective? Well, a few key things. They had women like Maria, Jenny, and Brittany just talk directly to the camera, telling their own stories in their own words. No scripts, no actors. Plus, they were super transparent about exactly how donations would be used. That 1-2 punch of authenticity and accountability, it built a massive amount of trust.
Okay, so we've seen 4 amazing but very different examples. What's the common thread here? Let's pull it all together and build a simple playbook that any nonprofit can use based on what made these campaigns work so well.
All right, if you take away only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Your organization is not the hero of the story. The hero is the person you're helping. They are the one on a journey, the one making the transformation happen.
I love this quote from Kelly Gagnon, a nonprofit marketing expert. She says, "You are not the hero, you're Yoda." Think about that. Your job is to be the wise guide, the mentor who helps the real hero, the person you serve, succeed on their journey. You're the Yoda to their Luke Skywalker.
So how do you actually do this? Look, you don't need to boil the ocean. Start small. Just aim for one great story a month. That's it, 12 a year. And where do you find them? Go talk to your staff who are on the ground every day. They see the magic happen. Sit in on your programs, ask your volunteers, then take that one story and spread it everywhere. Make a short video, write a blog post, send an email. And whenever you can, let people tell their own stories. Oh, and one last thing. Always, always finish with a super clear call to action. Tell people exactly what you need them to do next.
So that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. When you look at all the incredible work your organization does, all the people you help, what's the one story, that very first one, that the world absolutely needs to hear from you?